It is the popular saying that an healthy society is a wealthy one. On the Great Mind program, medical experts are available to provide solutions to various health challenges. You desire greatness in life. Successful men and women in the society are available on the Great Mind program to reveal to you the secrets to their greatness. The Great Mind of Nentiu Shubro is a watch for all. Meet me on the program every Sunday between 3:30 and 4 p.m. Happy Sunday to you all our viewers at home. It is another wonderful moment with me, Bola Olayode, on the program, The Great Mind. The personality we are celebrating on the program this week is the former Managing Director of Nigerian Wire Cable, Alhaji Lateef Bakare. Meanwhile, on the health segment, we are focusing on the resolution made by Osun Health Insurance Agency and the State Primary Healthcare Board for the success of the public health system. Since health remains the yardstick on which the wealth of any society can be adjudged, Osun Health Insurance Agency, in the realization of its mission of providing residents in Osun State access to qualitative health care free from financial hardship by pulling funds from public-private partnership to strengthen healthcare system based on equity, integrity, transparency, and solidarity, while providing regulatory oversight. For the past few weeks, the agency has been organizing facility-level training for the stakeholders on the operation of the Health Insurance Gateway of Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. The stakeholders had the 2 days facility-level training that took place between Tuesday, July 27 and Wednesday, July 28, 2021, where directors and secretaries, local government health authority, where Osun Health Insurance Agency and Osun Health Primary Care Board resolved to work in unity for the successful implementation of Basic Health Care Provision Fund in the interest of the entire residents in Osun State. Since Governor Adegboyega Oyetola is committed to the well-being of the people of the state, in his opening remark, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Health, Mr. Gbenga Oyebode, treated the commitment of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola to the well-being of the people of the state.
Get this money, I will not succeed with it. You must bring passion to what you are doing. I said it and I'll be saying it for the final time, that we will work to take salary, but we work diligently take blessing. Salary won't take anybody anyway, but God's blessing will sustain all of us at whatever level we want to do. To get God's blessing, go and work diligently. Let us take this work as our personal job. Thank God some of us are here who have a private facility. The way we run this place, can we run our private facility that way? Will it succeed? The answer is capital no. And so the way we run our private facility and it's succeeding, the innovative we are putting in our private facility and it's succeeding, let us use that innovative to make government, public facilities to survive. I told the ES insurance that if you continue the way we are and we don't focus on the public facilities, it's going to kill public facility in the state. And we will not do that. We will strengthen the public facility. PSC must work in this state. Secondary facility must work in this state so that our citizens will have unfettered access to health in the state.
The resource person had the facility level training, Mr. Solakpe Folarin, with the Zonal Technical Officer of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Abuja, gave the historical background of public health system in Nigeria from the World Health Organization assessment in 1999.
You will recall, for us at the National NPHCD, we try to balance up and synergize between NPHCD and NHIS on the gateway forum and implementation. And so at the state, in Osun State, it's also our delight that now we begin to build capacity among one another. And I appreciate the way he has about it. That even for him, bringing all his children in the world to this place, for us to build their capacity to ensure that if we don't get it right now, we will not get it right. Quickly, let's go back to historical perspective and background. Today, we are all hearing basic healthcare provision fund. How does it start? Where does it come from? In 1999, World Health Organization conducted a global health system assessment. We are aware of it, right? How many are aware? Can I see your hand? Wow. But today, and that's why it's good that we have to share minds. Out of 191 countries that WHO assessed that how are your health system working? You recall we have 6 building blocks in health system in line with the WHO definition, right? 6 building blocks. They assess the whole world. Our dear country, out of 191 countries, I said, Nigeria came 187. Ah, Dr. Adesina. Atama for Baba Ore. Atama for Baba Ore. Atama for Baba Ore. You know, I'm trying to lay a foundation. We are only better than 4 countries that are war torn at the time. Sierra Leone, Liberia, Afghanistan, correct, Somalia. We are better than no first country. And that informed the then president, Obasanjo, to call WHO and all the stakeholders in primary health care, especially health system in Nigeria, and say, what can we do? Dr. Maki, we are in crisis. WHO, we are 187 out of 191. Unacceptable, that's the word. This is unacceptable. And that informs a strategic committee which came up in 2000 with World Health System, WHS. Have you heard the word World Health System before?
Yes.
Exactly. World Health System is what informed Nigeria going to the area of building primary health care center in the 774 local government. We started in 2000. And we started with the initial 200 primary care facilities. Modern PSC, we call them again. But many of you are still remember.
Yes.
WHS started. And NPACD, that committee also submitted that we need to be having a pool of funds. A pool of funds. Because part of the problem is inadequate funding for health. That's what the farm is trying to say. What the system came into being, we have to also set up a pool of funds to be able to put all funds into it and be able to provide adequate funding for a system in Nigeria. And that necessitated and began the process for the National Health Bill that was forwarded to the National Assembly to be able to see how do we come out of this unacceptable state of WHO have said we are in, even though we know we are in it. Are we together? From that level on ground, the National Health Bill continued to be presented to the House, and there are challenges there. In 2003, MPHD went to all the states. That all the states need to form their primary health care board. 2003. That's almost 19 years ago, right? That's almost 19 years ago. Okay, we need to help because there are a lot of operational gateway that we need to resolve. And it's good that we're also here to be able to, let the obese people know our stand at the board. And there is what our own guidelines say. And there's also the policy of health in the states. So that together, we'll be able to agree. Our secretary will have the take home, since you are here as our head. Having that take home, the obese also having understanding that this is what we have agreed, especially as this person is present. So we need to, sir, please, let's all under one, let's at least 1, 2, 3 hours, we are going to take accreditation and enrollment to be before we close.
Farm Suwon Olasukomi, Director of Programs, Osun Health Insurance Agency, who spoke on the composition, roles, and responsibilities of the World Development Chairman, maintained that Osun State was the first state to pilot the program.
The only way that by which WDC can be effective is to expand it, to represent all interests in the world. It is from amongst those so much representative. Because everything people speaker house was assembly. Speaker. When the WDC now come together, you now appoint a chairman amongst themselves. they should hold the ownership of the appointment from the chairman and the secretary. Are we together? So it's supposed to be a composition of all clan heads, all village heads. We have some words. SRK is one word. The whole of SRK is one word. So each compound must be represented in the WDC. And for every WDC, there will be a clan head, like the one in office SRK, who will now be a patron to that WDC. Every WDC must have a patron. Why are we saying this? When my brother was talking the other time, he said, who are the owners of the places? I want to disagree with him a little bit. Government has ceded the ownership to the community. To the community. It is now community ownership. The chairman of the WDC is the owner on behalf of the community, of the PAC.
Dr. Shinet Belaye, Director, Standard Quality Assurance, Osun Health Insurance Agency, who spoke on the accreditation process and tools, stressed the need for building enrollees' confidence.
Across all of the things, all of the processes, all of the activities at the PAC level. Accreditation is just about trying to measure up to the standard that is expected, that is needed. Of course, we all know what the requirements and what are the things expected to be provided at our various facilities. For those that are private hospitals, of course, we will share the checklist with us. We have it here. But as I said, it's a very rigorous one. And I can tell us if any child comes and we go there to do the thorough job, I can tell us, even in spite of the renovation that we had, almost all of our facilities, almost all, I'm sure almost all do not have this accreditation we are talking about. But as we have said, we have done that and we are ready to defend our action. Because the PAC program itself is actually meant to improve the PAC our facilities at the primary care level. That is the way of PACPF. Money is coming from primary NPHCDA, money is coming from NHIS, all dropping down, dropping to the level of the facility. And that is what we are using to actually implement all of the activities at the primary care level. So beyond that is the fact that one, it improves our quality, good quality service at the health facility. Because by the time we know the basic things we are expected to have, the number of staff, the basic requirements, good qualified staff, how long ago, how many times have we had calls to check the qualifications of our staff?
Dr. Ayodeji Akinpelu is the Basic Care Provision Fund Desk Officer, Osun Health Insurance Agency.
Initially, we first trained the OICs and the WEC, also the local government health authorities, on the operations of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund as it affects the health insurance gateway. During that period, we discovered a lot of gaps, which also necessitated this meeting now we had, which has to bring the actors into the program, that is the mandate level of the State Primary Care Board, the health insurance, and local government authorities, also with the WDC. So the program initially was, one, to address the operational challenges and to uncover great areas about the health insurance scheme. Also, the revised guideline 2020, the gray areas that were not clearly understood, we brought all these actors together to have a full implementation. Let us not forget that the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is population-driven, also on quality service and utilization, and more importantly, the protection, financial risk protection for all our enrollees.
Honorable Adeoye Adelakun, Chairman, Governing Board, Osun Health Insurance Agency, who expressed happiness in meeting the heirs of primary healthcare system across the local government areas in the state, urged participants to strive to abide with the laid down rules for the use of Basic Healthcare Provision Fund.
That I am very much happy to meet the heads in the health industry. Because without you, there's no health administration in the state. No matter the number of doctors, the number of nurses, whatever, the primary health care is the basis of every access that people have to health And therefore, it is very, very important that people have people like you here, bringing us together to really formulate a way forward for our primary health care system in the state. Actually be very attentive and listen to the various terms and terminologies that they are bringing in as a result of the basic health care provision fund that has come or is coming or that will come for use in the state, such that we do not run foul. We don't run foul of whatever are the guidelines towards the utilization of those funds, because in law there is no excuse for ignorance.
Dr. Adeniyi Ogini, Executive Secretary, Governing Board, Osun Health Insurance Agency, explained the reasons for the review of the manual and efforts being made to remove bottleneck and introduce innovation for the successful implementation of the health scheme in the interest of the entire citizenry.
They must be willing to work with the paradigm shift. There is a paradigm shift from free health services, which we know, all of us, that it is nothing that we can write home about. Truly, when we started free health services in Osun State here in 1999, I was a medical officer in Osun, Comprehensive Center Osun. We used to see like 10, 12, or 8 patients daily. Before that, within a month of the free health services, we started seeing 100 patients. One doctor seeing 100 patients. And how do we see them? Of course, we just examine price, drugs, and everything. At the end of the day, 2 days, 3 days, they bring drugs, the drugs are finished. And then, of course, there's no proper documentation in terms of, the normal case notes, continuation sheets, and what have you. So we started tearing exercise book, and then everything became muddled up. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is an attempt towards taking us back to where we can have grassroots health system organized in the way that they ought to be organized. Don't go telling people that there is free health services. Free health services is only for those that are vulnerable. Vulnerable persons will receive treatment of good quality free of charge. They won't even pay 10% for their drugs that they take. They are the only ones that can have free health services. And it is under the health insurance scheme. That is why BHCPF the fund will not be given to any state that does not have a functional health insurance agency. Because it is not meant to be given to PHCs to treat people free of charge, without all of those steps and processes of accountability and transparency.
Stakeholders at the facility level training were full of gratitude to Osun Health Insurance Agency for the capacity building by making them to be well equipped for the tasks ahead. Details of this and other issues that came up in the course of the facility level training will be given in the subsequent edition of the program. As I said earlier, that the personality we are celebrating on the program this week is Alhaji Lateef Bakare, former managing director, Nigerian Wire and Cable, who can best be described as an achiever by excellence. The former managing director of Nigeria Wire and Cable, Alhaji Lateef Bakare, was born on June 20, 1955, to the affluent Bakare family in Ilesha. This house is Odole's family house, Ebede Street. It is the origin of his late father in Ilesha. He attended Nawarode Primary School in Ilesha and later proceeded to Atakumasa High School, Osun, for his secondary education.
I was born in Ilesha here on June 20, 1955. Of course, my parents are from Ilesha. Alhaji Bakare Ogini is late, and my mother Mrs. Rafat Shubola Bakare. She's still there. She's about 94, going to 95 years old. And she's okay. So, of course, I was born in Elisha. Grew up like every small child, running around, barely clothes. And I remember in those growing up days, when it was raining, you would be sliding on the cement and all that kind of stuff. Go from one stream to the other. Go from one stream to the other, swimming on the streams in Elisha. Because I attended the Warudin Primary School in Elisha here. And then growing up was fun in Elisha. But it was generally a very interesting life. I attended at Akumos High School in Osun.
Being an hard-working man, right from his youth, coupled with his upbringing as a son of a successful businessman. When Alhaji Lateef Bakare left his hometown Elisha for Lagos, he secured a job in an accounting firm and at the same time secured admission to Jeva College of Technology to study accountancy. Alhaji Lateef Bakare became a chartered accountant at the age of 21.
I went to Lagos and in Lagos I, of course, started working. First I worked in the firm of chartered accountants, Panel Fitzpatrick, from 1974. Then in 1975 I went to Yaba College of Tech. I read accounting or accountancy, and then I left Yaba Tech in 76. I qualified as a chartered accountant that year. In 1976 December, I qualified with the Chartered Association of Certified Accountants. But of course, at that time also you can actually be working and be reading. So I was working with the firm of chartered accountants. That was Deloitte Haskins and Sells. And I worked in Deloitte Haskins and Sells from 1976. I retired in 1991. And of course in Deloitte Haskins I had a very, what I would call a very successful career. I became a partner. Probably, actually, I was the youngest partner in that firm, and possibly I was also the first partner at that time to be appointed at below 30. I wasn't 30 years old when I was made a partner. And actually, I qualified as a chartered accountant at 21 plus. That was also a record, really, and so. For me, I think I just thank God for all of His mercies and His endowments.
Since it is an acknowledged fact that life can never be a bed of roses, Alhaji Lateef Bakare has this experience about life.
When I was born, I think my father had some money. But as we were growing up, then all of the difficulties and tribulations came. And then it became really problematic at that time. But I think generally we overcame all of the problems. That at least I was able to go to school and did all those things that a normal human person can do. But I guess without the initial problem, without the setbacks, it would have been slightly more than a silver spoon without the setback. It's a very funny situation really, because you will find that at that time I was very young, and of course I had my father who was in the transport business. He had several trucks at that time. But then one problem after the other, that it became that he had no vehicles again. And I remember when the last one had an accident, that was about 1960, we were 1963 or 64. And then there was this issue of insurance claim, and the driver died. Then my father refused to claim any insurance money and all that kind of stuff. Of course, there wasn't so much knowledge as of now to know that yes, you could actually claim for the family of the dead and all that kind of thing. But basically, I think those were situations, that sort of prepared one for what I would call the kind of one's worldview about things, that you've seen it rosy, you've also seen it very bad, of course, and but of course you sort of weather all of the storm to sort of achieve a measure of success through God's crowning one's effort, but I think it is more of I don't know. I believe it's like God's mercy and God's favor in one's ways.
Alhaji Lateef Bakare has been a chartered accountant for the past 44 years with robust managerial experience. He is an empowering leader who supports companies' top executives with a unique perspective on human resource management.
I had also worked in very reputable firm, Deloitte Haskins and Sons, mainly, I worked there for like 16 or 17 years before I retired. And so that had also prepared one for a lot, what I would call a lot of responsibilities and challenges. And of course, so in the growing up years, you must also not forget that, I became a chartered accountant when I was just about 21, that kind of stuff. So that means that, in the very formative years, one had also attained some kind of responsible position that also gives you a tremendous responsibility. And of course, so you now have to start balancing your conduct as a young man with your conduct as a leader. This is my advice. My advice to the youth now is to say, okay, fine. If you have the opportunity to be in employment, by employment I'm looking at that, say you are in school, for God's sake, read it well. Read it well. Make sure you come out on top, in very top grade. If you don't have, learn a trade.
Alhaji Lateef Bakare joined the board of First Bank in February 2017. He is now into consultancy. With perseverance, hard work, and diligence, you and I can attain any height in life. On that note, we are ending this week's edition of the program, The Great Mind. Next Sunday is another date. Over you, stay blessed.